Hey all, this is Nightmare logging in, and today we're going to talk about one of my new favorite characters, Rogue, who I got from the basic arena, and I'm very happy with her. Now, as you can see, I have her at level 30 right now. That's because after I got from the basic arena and then awakened her in the basic arena, added a few signature stones, I got her again in a 4-star crystal. So I'm quite happy that I got it with her. It's a better use than, let's say, Spider-Gwen, or Luke Cage for that matter, who I already got awakened unnecessarily, of course. Now, what makes her great? Well, the first thing we should probably talk about is her passive over here. She decreases the duration of debuffs by 70%. So poison, bleed, stun, she's great against that because she will get rid of it very quickly. So that's one very good thing about her. Now, her specials, she's one of those characters that her specials really make the character. Now, the first special, as you can see, first of all, the big thing is she steals life. So she keeps 100% of the life stolen. So that's very useful, obviously. I mean, any character that can basically regen life or steal life has use in long battles. So that's a great feature in itself. But what makes her really good is that she also replicates 5 of the opponent's active buffs. So let's say the opponent has power or regeneration or something like that, fury, she'll steal all of that. Now, the thing with her way it works is that you have to keep on attacking. Even if the opponent blocks, you have to keep on attacking the opponent. As long as you attack the opponent, you get to keep the buffs. If the timer runs out, you lose all the buffs. Now, the second thing is her second special, which is Power Steal. I mean, if you can't get a magic in the game, it's always good to have someone with Power Steal. So she can steal 9% of their power. She gets 3 hits, which is nice, does decent damage on those 3 hits. That's very useful. So that's also a good thing. Now, the special 3 also is very interesting because not only do you get some power steal, but all the buffs you had stolen away that you may have lost because you weren't aggressive enough or whatever, or you had to get the opponent to hit their special. You get them all back. You get 1 per each type of buff you got. So let's say you had the opponent, you had stolen regeneration and fury from an opponent, and the clock had ran out. You'll get those back with this third special. So that makes it very, very useful. So, I said, her specials really make the difference with her. That's something you have to realize. Now, the other thing is that she has a good signature. The signature allows the life and power steal to crit. So, let's say you would normally get, let's say, I'm making this number up by the way, so I don't think this is it. I'm not thinking about it right now. But let's say you would normally get 500 hit points per life steal. You can get 1500 because it crits. So that's a very useful feature. And at level 30, she has a 28.5% chance to crit. So that's great. That's a very good number. I mean, that means 1 in 4 times she'll life steal, and because power steal gets 3 hits, because of 3 hits, you'll have a very good chance of getting at least 1 power steal that crits. So I said that makes her very useful. Now, what are her disadvantages? Her big disadvantage is that her buff steal doesn't work against tech characters, which is a bit of a loss. I mean, that may make her a lot less valuable on AW since you don't know if you're going to be fighting a tech character. They also can't steal an unblockable buff. So, you're fighting a Juggernaut, you're fighting Unstoppable Colossus, she won't be able to steal that. So that's a bit of a loss. Not a huge loss, but it is a loss. So forget about that. You can't steal that. And another thing is, if you're a passive player, if you like to stand back, she's not a great character for you. Because the buff steal will clock out every time. You need to be very aggressive to use her. If you're not a very aggressive player, you're going to lose some value of hers. I mean, you'll still have the life steal, you'll still have the power steal, but the buff steal is going to be relatively useless because you're going to lose it very quickly. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Now, where would I use her? Well, I said any long battles or any case where you have to fight a lot of battles, she's perfect for. So let's say AW, she's very good at story mode, events. She's very good at. She probably could be used in Realm of Legends because as long as because of regen and power steal, that gives her a long life. And of course, another thing is that because she steals she can steal opponents' regen. She can last for a very, very long time against, let's say, a Wolverine. And the other thing is, because of the way her buff steal works, when you steal a buff from the opponent, they can't use that buff. So once you steal, let's say, Wolverine's regeneration, he can't use it until the clock's out, which makes it very useful for that. Now, as I said, with AW, she's a mixed bag because she can't use her buff steal against tech characters. And one thing you'll probably see a lot of times is a lot of Juggernauts. So she's not going to be very useful against a Juggernaut or unstoppable classes. She'll still be useful because she'll still have the life steal and the power steal, which is good. But the buff steal won't be as useful as it could be. So just keep that in mind. Now, the other thing she can be used at is if you're a aggressive player, that's also very useful. If you're a aggressive player, she's a great character because you can keep on collecting buffs. And any character that uses a lot of buffs, such as Scarlet Witch or Venom, you could annoy the hell out of. So that makes her very useful for that. I mean, so any character that uses a lot of buffs, Doctor Strange also has a buff, any character like that, she can be very useful for. So that's something to keep in mind. So aggressive players, you'll love this character. Now as for signatures, let's get that out here. Synergies. Her synergies are okay. She has with Nightcrawler for 6% health. She has Gambit 5% power gain. The big one, of course, is that if you have Miss Marvel, the original Miss Marvel, not the new Miss Marvel, not Kamala Khan, she gets 115 critical damage rating, which can be very useful for her, considering that her life and power still can crit. I mean, you probably want to use her. She would be very good on a crit team if you have a crit team. Just keep in mind. But that's something to keep in mind, that crit teams can be very useful for her. But as I said before, and I said Deadpool also, if you happen to be one of the very, very, very few who have the red Deadpool, she can be useful for the 12% special attack damage. So that's also good. But there's other characters that have similar things, and they're a lot less rare than Deadpool. So that one's not that useful because most people don't have the red Deadpool as a 4. I'm not sure if she even exists. I don't even think he exists as a 5, but as a 4, almost no one has him unless they paid money for him. So some whales will have it, and that's pretty much it. So now to show how good she is, I'm gonna use her in story mode here. Attempt to use her in story mode. Let's see now. I'm not sure what I was up to in here, so let's go to. I'm not gonna use her in Elder World. I mean, frankly, I don't want to pay for regen after regen, but I'll use her here. Ace in the hole. Let me fix my team here. So I want to use a rogue here. This is not a bad thing because at least you get a little. You get a little. That's perfect block. Sorry, you get a little critting from this, crit damage. So that's not bad. It'll get plus get some health and other things. So this is a decent team. Plus, let's be honest here. Who doesn't like to have lots of bleed? But I'm not going to be using the bleed because it doesn't matter. So just get an idea of what Rogue would do on the average team. So here we go. No one cares. Okay. Let me see a path I could take. Don't necessarily need to take the longest path. I'll go with this path. It's a good path as any. Now, I'm using her against a tech character. You're going to see she can't steal the buffs, unfortunately. So, forget about stealing her regen. But she'll at least give you an idea of how the character works. That's a mistake. Should pay attention, but I'll make up for it with this. I can still feel it. So, still has uses. Probably noticing that she has bleed. That's because of the rules of this act. Yeah. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that. Unfortunately, this chapter does have, I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up quickly so I can remember. Which side I want to use. Forget, I'll just go up. Up seems as good a direction as any. Yeah, just so people know why you're seeing, let's say, bleed. She has chaos, that's what it's called, chaos. I mean, everybody in this chapter has chaos, which means you get a random special attack every time you use you get a special random attack, which is a pain in the butt, but nothing you do about it. And this has True Strike, so just something to keep in mind. But so don't be confused if you see some things here. But, now, one thing I've got to mention about the character, she also has an extremely good PI rating. So she has one of the best PI ratings in the game. So just keep that in mind. Don't always do that. I'm going to show you the power steal with her in a minute. Like I said, she crit once, I think, maybe twice, but she crit at least once. Just to give you an idea. And I said so she has very good damage with that, so it does have her uses. Now for everybody's least favorite character, Abomination. Lousy to play and lousy to use, but for some reason... Oh shoot, my bad. Of course I have to use a bleed character against him because I wasn't paying attention. Sorry for that. Oops. Don't know what happened there. There's some weirdness in the game that I think we've all noticed at some point. Come on, I don't know what happened. Oh shit. No wonder I just blocked it. This is what we all want to see. Yeah. That's one biggest annoyance, is that Chaos can give someone unblockable. And it will almost always be your opponent because you're never so lucky. So, I'm going to go back to using Robe now. Come on, Robe. Yeah. Now you're going to see how good the character is. She's going to steal his regen. Theoretically at some point. Oh, of course, I can't use any power now. Unless he uses special, so select his special. Come on, hit your special. Not so bad, that's regen. Come on. At least now I can up my power, which is what I needed to do. As you can see, I just stole his armor, which was nice. But I wasn't aggressive enough, so I didn't keep it. Okay, Rogue. Now hopefully I'll use this time to heal a little bit. Just to give you an idea. Oh, don't know what happened there. Don't know that happened by any time. Come on. Normally I would get enough to heal. I'm really quite with that. Now of course how I stole buffs. He's not going to be able to use them again if they spawn. Wow, that was quick. As I said before, she has one of the highest PIs in the game. I should have mentioned that sooner. So that's something to keep in mind. If you need to boost your PI, she's a great character to do it, especially if you have some signature stones in her. I mean, she has a good signature ability there, as far as they go. You know what, I'm just going to use Guillotine here. Make it quick. As you saw, there's nothing great about using Rogue against tech character. I don't know, my screen's screwed up, but it seems like going back sometimes doesn't happen. Here we go. I don't know how much more I have. Oh good, this is almost halfway done, more than halfway done, almost done with this one. So this will be my idea at least. Okay, get back to Rogue. Depends how I fought Gel Jack and fighting him again. I don't know how that works, but bad level design, a chance. With all these characters, they had something more than once. That I got in Black Rogue. Miracles and miracles. Wow. See, I just cleared life steal there. So I got a lot of life back. Wow, my timing. I don't know, my timing's off or something else is going on, because I can swear I timed that right. I will say, because of her flying, her parry can be a little off. Good. That was very lucky because I still block him and I don't. Stole and dead. So now I think I have what, one more character left or two more characters left? One more. Yeah, right. You're the Queen of Demons, yeah. For you, the pet monsters, yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's a little demonic. I have no idea how many hit points she has. I probably should have looked at what she had, but come on. Oh no. Fortunately, she cannot steal them. Ooh. That was a skill of the worst kind. I don't even know if I have a... Let's see if I have a regen for her, just so I continue using her. That was embarrassing. I have one regen. What I do for her, yeah. I'm actually going to use it. Hope I have some heals as well. Not much. I don't know if this will even be enough, but should give you an idea. That'll teach me to be careless. I know, less talk, more game. And I forgot to look again. This is why she's a... You want to know why Magic's such a great defensive character? Just seeing it. That limbo takes up a lot of damage. Use someone else to finish her off here. I just don't. Normally I would finish everything off Rogue, but I just don't have much in Rogue. So let me just finish this off here. Wolverine's as good a choice as any. The female one, that is. Dora. Yeah. I will definitely have to do an X-23 video at some point. But she's actually one of my real favorite characters besides Rogue. If you want a quick death, this is the one you use for. Look how much bleed I'm getting on her. But as you can see, other than this battle, Rogue is a very useful character, and definitely, I consider one of the top characters in the game right now. Definitely, well, I wouldn't know. I'm not as convinced as some people that she's a top mutant. You can make a strong argument for Wolverine. You can make a strong argument for X-23. But they're three great mutants. Any of those three you should be happy with. I mean, they will have their advantages. I mean, X-23 does more bleed damage. Wolverine has better regen, while Rogue has decent regen with lifesteal, but she also gets a power drain. She also gets a power steal, and she also has buff steal. So, actually, one thing I'll say, actually, of all the characters in the game, she seems to fit most with who she is in the comics, because that's what she does. She steals everything. So, giving her buff steal, power steal, and life steal, that seems like, if you're gonna make Rogue a character, that's pretty much how you make Rogue a character in the game. So, like I said, I'm very happy with her. I do recommend her heavily. I mean, and that's pretty much it. So this is Nightmare logging off.